Skyhawk Talk, Snappy Tomato Pizza. Coach Kevin McMillan joins us. How are you, Coach?
Good.
Good. Talk about the Skyhawk women's open to the season. Couple of box scores. We'll go back to the Belmont game. That was on Friday night. Coach, I did not see that game. I was surprised early at the score, 23-20 at halftime, and that really surprised me. What was going on there in the first half?
Well, wherever you didn't see it, I wish I was with you the first half. Actually, the whole game. It was, Chris, it wasn't it reminded me of what we were like 2 years ago. There was no flow to the game. You know, that year we wanted no flow to a game. We wanted no rhythm. We wanted nothing to look pretty. And we wanted to see if we could get down to 5 minutes to go in the game and have a chance to win. Okay? That's exactly what it felt like the whole game again. And it was just, ugh. Yeah. And, the good thing that they did is they came out and they did what they had to do to get a victory in that second half. And I'm proud of them for that. But some of those mistakes we made, we didn't need to be making because they've learned. They've done it for a year. It's not like we were learning for the first time. So it wasn't a great ball game any way you look at it.
Second half, though, obviously you played better.
Not really.
Really?
No, we didn't. I mean, we shot better.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 16% in the first half. And then so second half we played much better. Right? Well, we shot 40% in the second half. That's not good.
No.
So I mean, it wasn't better. It was just, I mean, it wasn't.
And not even
good.
A lot of turnovers.
No, we only turned the ball over 7 times. So that was a positive. But it just was I don't really think we were into it yet. I don't think it's because we were like, is the season really started yet? It didn't feel like it's basketball season maybe. I don't know what it was. But it wasn't a great game. And I told him if I was a fan, I might give you one more chance. But if I had to watch that again, I don't know. I prefer to bring a book, So it was fine though after that, and I hope that's just something that happens every once in a while, and we just have to live through it.
Final score 67-48. UT Martin pulls away and wins that opener at the Elam Center. 48 hours later, you have Air Force on the floor. I want to talk more specifically about them later in the opening ceremonies, but let's talk about the game first. Coach, this was a physical team and a physical game.
Yeah, it was very physical. It was very much a hard-nosed basketball game. Those kids play hard. They don't quit. And since we had come off the Belmont game and hadn't done much, I think our kids were out there to prove a little point. And I felt by and large we did. There were a few possessions where we didn't. I wasn't happy with the entire ball game. There were quite a few uncharacteristic plays from us, but I can live with uncharacteristic turnovers if we're at least playing hard and trying to do what we're supposed to. And we were. I mean, there was the game, whereas the game against Belmont, there was absolutely no flow at all, no rhythm. This game, there was flow, but it was real choppy. It was like, it was good, man, and it was up and down. And, some of that's due to Air Force, but most of that's due to us. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody we play, but if a game doesn't have flow or rhythm to it, that's our fault. Not, the other team shouldn't be able to take us out of a flow or a rhythm no matter what. I mean, they can be whipping us and we'll still be in a flow and rhythm. And
that's funny. Let me ask you this then, philosophically. You mentioned your first year with the team that would get the shot clock down to 5 seconds and wanted that, and you tried to control tempo and flow. You're telling me now that you should never let another team control tempo and flow, even though you were on the other side of that and did it so well in your first year. So how is it done?
Well, I don't know. That's a great question.
Well, you've been on both sides.
Well, I know. Well, see, it's hard for me. I can't listen to our team say that they can't get in the flow and get rhythm and do what we have to do to control that. And I go, okay, you guys didn't sit here 2 years ago. Y'all were not here. We controlled every game no matter what. Win or lose, we controlled every game. We're better at every position. There's no excuse why y'all don't control every night out. Well, they don't quite grasp that. Now Weatherly does.
Yeah, because she was there.
And Paige Smith is running. She does. But these guys are so talented that I think sometimes they take it for granted and don't give it the respect or the power that it deserves about when you're in control of a game, what that means. I just think they don't pay that much attention to it. Now, how do you do that? You got to make your kids mentally tougher than whoever you're playing.
It's mental.
That's all it is. It's all mental.
Yeah.
And your kids have to be mentally tougher than they are. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you come to practice every day. And we're trying. It's not something you can. Today with the girls afterwards, I took out my I roll up my practice schedule and had a little pencil in it, and I said, guys, I don't have a wand to wave on you and say, now you can play. It's something. It's every day. It's doing the same drills over and over and over until you're second nature at it. It's being challenged every day to do your best. It's something about every single day, and that's probably one of the reasons why you don't see us peak real early, is because we're not real mentally tough early, and we're just trying to get to that point. And I know hopefully you do, but I wish there was a simple way you could do it. I wish there was a book that you could give and say, read this book, you'll be mentally tough, but it doesn't work that way.
That's funny that you've been on both sides of it, though. Let's go back to the Air Force game. Taylor Hall goes down with a knee injury. She seemed to be okay. She came back in the second
half. She came back and played. She was sore today, which I knew she would be. I was really actually shocked she came back. I mean, honestly, I didn't think she would come back. She came back. She's okay. She sprained her MCL and should be okay for Wednesday. Now, to make our trainer has said she can play now, and I tell the kids this, that the order that you get to play is, if the doctor says you can play, first check mark. If the trainer says you can play, that's the second check mark. But I'm the third check mark, and I'll see what she looks like tomorrow and see if we want. I mean, it's November.
Yeah.
We're not worried about. We just need to make sure she's healthy and not at risk for hurting herself a little bit more. Tamika said she'll be able to play, and I believe her, and I think she will. And as long as my gut feels good, I'll put her out there. And if I'm hesitant, though, I'm not gonna stick her out there in a ball game. She's too important to us.
She is important. I won't talk about that. Last year, she struggled in the first half of the season, or at least the first part of the non-conference season, and you kept saying she's a better player than this. And I remember, I think you even put her in the starting lineup and said she didn't deserve it, but you wanted to kind of kickstart what was going on. This year, we're seeing all of the defensive emphasis on Heather and Jasmine, and Taylor is even a bigger part because she finds herself open.
Well, Taylor and Jaclissa are both having great starts to the season, and they realize what that means when Jasmine and Heather get so much attention, that they're going to get to do a few more things, and they're doing it. And so I'm proud of where they are and what they're doing, and we got to have them. Who's letting us down right now is our post play. I mean, they have not realized what those two guards have to deal with every day. And I talked to them about that today. I was like, guys, you're one-on-one down the low post, and these poor little guards are having to beat 2 and 3 people to score, and so you're expecting them to score. I mean, is that fair? You want them to beat 3 people, and you won't beat 1. I mean, let's be honest now. Who needs to be stepping it up a notch? And if they don't beat 3 people, we're all disappointed in them.
And all of your outside players are 3-point threats.
No, that's true.
You can stretch the defense.
So there's no excuse for you to have 2 players down there around you, and because teams aren't going to leave them. And so, I mean, we've got to have – and you look at – and it's so funny looking at our box scores, because you see the post play is basically 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 11 minutes, 13 minutes. We're looking. Somebody step in there and anchor us down. And we'll do it by committee if we have to, but I want those committees to know what they're doing and how they're helping us. And those kids are just going to have to decide to grow up and be factors. And they don't. But you don't have to be an offensive factor. I think that's where they're missing it. I think they think that means scoring, and it truly doesn't. If they'll rebound and play defense and just control the glass, game over. I mean, it's game over. And if you'll just make the little 2-footers, we're fine. I mean, we're ready to roll.
We saw a little bit of it from Rakisha in the Air Force game. There was a 2-minute stretch when she had a rebound, threw an outlet pass.
Absolutely.
One-on-one offensively, looked like Kevin McHale. I mean,
best player in the gym for her stretch. Now, here's the thing. About a minute after that, she got beat down the floor and gave up a layup.
Right.
And we're going, wait a minute. You can't. And what's happening with our post. And Shelby played unbelievable the first 6 minutes of the second half, first 5 minutes. When she gets tired, it's done. Rakisha, when she gets tired, nope, done. And then Beth is just, she's coming. Beth will be fine. It just takes her a few games to get kind of rolling, and she'll be in there, she'll do fine. And then Parika, we need Parika to grow up, period. And if she does that, she'll start getting minutes and get a chance. But, we're searching for them, and they just, we talk about it. Butler and Newsom bring the things that they do every single night, and we expect it from them. Everybody does. Those post players don't. I mean, they bring it for 3 minutes. So what they're asking us to do as coaches is we've got to pick the exact 3 minutes during a 40-minute game that you're going to come out and play the way you're supposed to. And then when we get you out, we got to put the other person in, and it's got to be their exact 3 minutes. And then we got to pick the exact right time to put you back in to make sure we're – oh, my Lord, Chris, I'm not that smart.
All right, we only have a couple minutes. Let me ask you this. Of all the years you've coached, and we're assistant coach and a head coach, anybody better at taking it to the basket than Jasmine Newsom?
Heather Butler.
Okay. Is Heather better at taking? Are they equal, or are you on?
Well, if you'd have asked me who was better than Heather Butler, I was going to say Jasmine Newsom.
Okay.
So it
if they're the dynamic duo,
they're the two.
Different styles.
When you see that look on either one of their face,
Yeah.
give them the ball and don't worry about it. It's going to get in there.
Yeah.
Now, they may miss a few, but they're going to get it in there.
Yeah.
They're both unbelievable.
I remember thinking last year, how will these two guards coexist? And it's brilliant. I mean,
they love being out there together.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. They feed off each other. They play off each other. They are fun to watch together out on that floor. And Skyhawk fans, you get 3 years with these guys. You better watch every game you can watch and soak it up, because I guarantee you the Gibson County fans and the Millington fans are wishing they had them to watch over again, because they're just something else.
Are they close off the floor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Best of friends.
Yeah. Southern Miss coming up Wednesday at Purdue on Sunday. The schedule gets tough, Coach. Let's talk about these two games coming up this week.
Well, there's a 7-game stretch, Chris. This is the most brutal schedule that we have ever had, that I think the UT Martin team has ever faced. This next 7 games, we could really, really, really make some strides in this. Totally dependent on the post. Absolutely dependent on our post players over the next 7 games. But we're going to Southern Miss, who's unbelievable this year. They will be the most athletic team that we face all year. Rival them to like Kentucky from last year. Then we're going up to Purdue, Purdue, Big Ten, Purdue, national champions in '99, the Final Fours and all that. And then, it doesn't get any easier. You're doing St. Louis, you're doing Memphis, you're doing Vanderbilt, you're doing Indiana State, Central Arkansas. It's an unbelievable stretch, but it's the same thing we did last year with that 10-game stretch, except this time it's a 7-game stretch, and actually there's no – last year there were kind of some real good teams, then with some easier teams, real good teams. This year there's no of those dips. It's every team that we're going to play is really, really good, and it's going to be a challenge. So we could make a huge statement after these 7 games, or we could all be sitting here licking our wounds after 7 games.
I love your diplomatic non-answers. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach Kevin McMillan. Coach Jason James joins us when we return on the Skyhawk Sports Network.